welcome, everybody. I'm just going to do a quick temperature check. I want to see who's in the room. I love South African alternative music, especially when... Welcome back, all 8 of you who said that. All the new people, we love South African alternative music, especially when... Exactly. So every Wednesday, this is your weekly touch-up, week number 113. Make some noise for 113 weeks. So the key is essentially consistency, right? But I think the key that opens the key is this quote that's on my wallpaper. It says, create the things you wish existed. Right, so the reason we do this is because we're artists ourselves, and we needed our people to know exactly where to find us and find each other. You know, everybody who's interested in the same kind of music and the likes. I need someone to do some police work there by the bar. I think we're in competition. Okay. So, yeah, my name is ByLwansta. I'm joined by L the Third, right? Make some noise for L the Third. I'm also joined by Anita. Make some noise for Anita. And then I guess the homies on sound, they're somewhere, but I'll point them out. But yeah, we are the team that executes this every single week. We show up every Wednesday, show up for ourselves, and you know, you guys show up for us every time you come through. So we're very grateful. We're trying to, you know, make this thing that's supposed to be bigger than us. But one of the things that contributes to making this thing bigger than us, you know, the passion is there, the love, the dedication, the commitment is there. What's often missing? Does anyone want to take a guess? Not you. Does anyone want to take a guess what's usually missing when everything is there, the passion, the artistry, everything? Hit me. The? Market, no, well, we good, we kicking, we eating. Close, starts with that same letter though. There we go, the money. So money is often missing. You know, we don't ticket this particular event because what we're trying to achieve needs us to have every opportunity to let people change their mind about this little scene we're building. The moment we ticket someone who could be converted might just say, okay, never mind. I was never into alternative music anyway. And then they go to the venue or the 100 venues playing Amapiano right now. So there's actually, right now, literally, in fact, there's an app that I downloaded that shows me every venue that's playing Amapiano. I'm joking, but you know, it's so this on a Wednesday represents our bigger goal. It's not a convenient day. So when you come out for South African alternative music, you've made a conscious decision, and we're very grateful. Thank you. Is this your first Wednesday? Oh, welcome home. Welcome home. So let's talk about money, right? Today's conversation, we usually have a panel, but I have an obligation to some people who gave me money the other day, right? And the obligation isn't necessarily an obligation to sell what they do, but to speak about what we did in partnership with them. So in the last 5 months, I had applied for funding from an organization called Concerts SA, right? They've been around for the last couple of years. I don't know if they're a subsidy of SAMRO, but they've worked together. So this funding is a tour fund. They call it a mobility grant. They say it's not, or rather they say it's catalytic, which means it's meant to help you start something that you're going to have to continue, as opposed to solve for like one thing and then that's it, right? So it being catalytic is meant to give you a boost and to give you a start. So the mobility grant, amongst their various other grants, they have music creation grants that gives you money to go make music and record something. I don't know what, I can't remember the amount, but I've received that as well at some point. There's an art to applying for money. We had one of our panels a couple months ago was Andre LaRue from IKS, who facilitate the grant, especially around this mobility fund. So they'll get the submissions, and they give you 45,000 Rand, guys, right? 45,000 Rand to do shows. Some people have done like 3 shows, some people have done 4, some people have really stretched that money, right? I took my 45,000 Rand and I did 2 shows, right? And we thought, dog, they're not gonna give you money for 2 shows. But again, there's an art to applying, right? And I'll talk about it just now. If you guys wanna follow along with this particular chat, there's a post on Instagram we put out on the Normal page. The company is called Normal with an upside down A, but V to everyone else. Normal on Instagram, it says 6 lessons. 6 lessons from 2 gigs, 1 tour bus, and a lot of receipts, right? So if you want to just like, because this is essentially what I'll be unpacking, these 2 shows that I did. How this payment works, they give you 75% of the amount first, right, to do these shows. So the 2 shows that I did the Chairman in Durban. This is 3 weekends ago. And then I did Artistry a weekend ago on Saturday. That was the last show. We filmed it, we documented it. The goals that we set out, because this money isn't for you to pocket, obviously. So there's a reality where maybe I could have personally made money off of this, but it is just 45,000 Rand. And it sounds like a big amount until you have to start allocating budget. So the conversation, again, is to speak through that. So let's talk about the first event. So they give you 75% of the funds first, which is like around 33,750 or something. Whoever does the maths, you'll stop me, and then you'll give us the actual number. 75% of 45K, right? They give you that amount up front. Before they give you that money, right, I'm going to turn to Psalms. No, I'm joking. I'm going to go to... they have a lot of, once they've obviously agreed that, hey, you've been selected, and they gave about 50 applicants this money. So 45,000 Rand times 50. I'm actually going to do that math right now. 45,000 Rand times 50. That's 2,250,000, right? So they split that across 50 applicants. So people can put on shows, an opportunity to generate revenue and whatnot. So they also encourage you to ticket. So before they release this money, they need the following things from you guys. 1, letters of appointment. Because what they also look forward to, especially in your application, is how many people are you employing? This includes your band members. I was fortunate, I have a biggish band, there's like 7 of us. I've already employed 7 people. I've got a sound engineer. I've got a technical team. In total, that's 5 people. So 7 plus 5, 12. And I've got a project manager and an event coordinator. That's 14. Yo, please, do it. Yeah. 14. And then I've got DJ, also supplies our sound. Technically, you're 2 people, right? So 1, fine. 15. And then we keep it going. I didn't include the venues stuff, but in my reporting, which we'll get to, I'll talk through that. So how many people are we employing? What is the proof? Each of them has to sign a letter of appointment. They have to give me their IDs, ID copy, signature, details, address, IDs, and their role. That goes into a document. I put it in a folder. One thing that's key in this whole thing is to be organized, and apparently it's not the artist's way to be organized, Do you have a question? Hit me. Yeah. So is there a minimum amount of people that you need to employ? So they don't explicitly say, but if you're employing like 3 people, then you probably just won't be funded, because they'll probably be like, okay, cool, because you'll find somebody's employing like 15 people. And then if you've only employed 2, they probably go through like, okay, cool. How many people employed over 10 people? 10? Okay, cool. Everybody else, Alin. And then they look through those people. So that's just my assumption, because they look at these things. So letter of appointment for each of these people and all these credentials. Number 2, what else? What else did they ask for? This one is the tricky part. This delayed us quite a bit because, again, we weren't necessarily as organized as we would have liked. Tax. right? They need you to be tax compliant, right? And until we did this event, I had a lot of backlog of tax. This particular subsidiary of our company was registered in 2022, the label, but the holding company 2018. But 2022, 2023, 2024, that's 2 years of annual returns that I need to file, and just all sorts of this. So they know that you're tax compliant, and then they release that money. That's part where you spend a lot of time with your accountant. I was using apps like QuickBooks, and then going back and forth with my accountant. As soon as we got that, put it in a folder that we're going to send them. Shop. Trying to think what else. There's an agreement that they speak to as well, where I guess you're agreeing to obviously receiving the money, how you're going to use their logos, because they're partners. It's like 4 or 5 organizations. SAMRO, Concerts SA is one, Festival Enterprise Catalyst, as well as, who's that? IKS, who facilitated. Their logos didn't have, but they're the ones who were facilitating. There's one more, but they also give you these files in a folder when they give you the agreement, and they show you how to use it. So there's an agreement that says that there's also a percentage of ticket sales that goes to them, like just as not like as a gesture of sorts. They're giving you money, and I guess you're putting back for the future ones, I guess. So you're agreeing to all sorts of these things in this agreement. You're not signing away any royalties, any copyright, nothing. It's just, this is a formal agreement. This is a transaction and whatnot. And you also are promising to report, because that reporting helps them improve in the future applications. You had another question, sir?
The funding that you get.
Hello? Check.
Yep.
Check. Are you able to pay back the money in some sort of way?
No. So it's again, it's catalytic. You've applied to be funded, so they're not expecting it back, but just from a small percent. I think it's 15%
of the ticket sales
of tickets that you're meant to just give them. So when you report, you say, this is how many tickets we sold at this gig, and then you give them a portion of that.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Another question.
So what do they gain? So what do they gain from doing all of that for you? It's not a government fund or something.
It's not a government fund, but the arts are heavily underfunded, right? The gentleman who I guess is in charge of this particular project used to work at SAMRO, and internally, SAMRO is I don't know, everybody familiar with SAMRO? SAMRO is an organization where you register your music. They collect royalties for you from radio play, television, performance, public performance, Ideally, some DJs have to submit, or all DJs should submit like a list of songs they played. I think that's something new they're trying to enforce, where now, because a public performance doesn't need you to be on the mic. Your music playing is a performance. And if you perform at SAMRO registered venues, you're able to register that performance and earn royalties from that. I don't have a lot of music playing on radio or on TV, but I perform, quite a bit. So whenever I received money, I was like, what? Okay, that's crazy. And some festivals ask you to submit a list of songs so they can also assist you in submitting. So what they get in return, I guess, it's obviously not monetary, but, the arts are important. As much as when they say only essential workers, and then they cut off the arts, they leave the doctors, the whatevers, it obviously gives the impression that art isn't as important. But what these institutes do, they step in to breathe life into artists like us. There's artists like the Msakis who've gone through similar funding processes, and it just allows you that boost. It's almost like what a bank would give you as a loan, but in this case, you just have to, good faith, put their logos there, and when you report, to let them know how they can improve. So it's not the best answer, but when you say, oh, someone's doing it with a good heart, part of it is that, because otherwise we're not touring. We tried to tour 2 years ago. Cost me personally 40,000 rand, and this is end of 2023 or 2024. I kid you not, I've been broke since that day. Went and toured with my own money, and I've been broke since that day. So this really helped. Granted, I shouldn't have toured again, just from the trauma. But when I was like, okay, cool, let's try it one more time. But also, it's only 45,000 rand. It's great, as a catalytic thing, but I don't want anyone to think that, this is going to solve all our needs. So now let's get into how we apportion that budget. You had a question before I get into that.
Hi. Yeah. More than a question, it's not a suggestion, but it's a solution to y'all's problems. I'm a part of an incubation company called Psyche. So what we do is incubate artists. So there's an entrepreneurship incubation that we also run that helps artists with things like SAR, how to register your business and all of that. It's completely free to be a part of. If you're lucky enough, you even get a stipend. So please just check the South African Creative Industries Incubator. There is an entrepreneurship incubation program specifically for people like you. Information like that, you'll get it there for free.
Thank you. Make some noise for that. Yeah. I imagine you guys are talking about exchange numbers, right? So we'll talk and then we'll post that on our Instagram as well. So let's talk about how we apportioned that 33.750 rand, I think. So how I did it is we split Durban, we split Joburg. The chairman is in Durban. That particular show requires a tour bus. It also requires Airbnb for 8 people, right? The second show at Artistry, it was more of a production, an entire production on our part. Instead of us arriving at a venue, plugging in our instruments, and then performing, we were producing a whole show, which means bringing our own sound, bringing our own engineers, bringing our own team, and everything. Those people are people you are paying, right? As per that letter of employment that I spoke about earlier. And then also venue hire. Right? Again, that one was a production. Whereas Durban, on the other hand, there's this beautiful venue called the Chairman Lounge. It's been around for a while. I performed there in 2019 while I was still based in Durban. And then now I returned with my band. So Airbnb, tour bus. Now, Airbnb is fairly simple, right? It tells you how much you're paying before you check out. It tells you the rules. Tells you maximum number of people you pay. We paid about 3.9 for this incredible Italian villa in Bria, right? That's what it said there. And I believed them. It was beautiful, right? Booked it. I think it was like a 5-bedroom, so 222, or 4-bedroom, 222. And then, great. Check out, booked, keep the receipt or the invoice. Stash it in that folder because we're organized. You have to, right? Now we get to our tour bus. Now, the concept of the tour bus isn't, new to anyone who is a musician. Like, we've seen our heroes. Like, Lil Wayne's tour bus got shut up, so, but there's always stories about, people making music in tour buses, people being on tour, people sleeping, it's a dream almost. Until you have to book your own, right? So we hired a tour bus from one of these vehicle hiring places. I won't name drop because I owe them money. And here's why I owe them money. So we booked a Quantum. It was cute. I kind of look like a taxi driver, apparently. So the homies were like, are they not going to stress us when we get to it? And I was like, guys, look at me. We're good, right? So hired a Quantum, 11-seater. Go pick it up at the airport. I get there, and I guess if you're just an artist, I don't know if you've looked or are familiar with what your credit score is, or if you've worked on building credit, or if you can, but that was one of the first hurdles for me, right? Credit score looking crazy because of that tour from a year ago. So I'm there with my bassist Bleat. We're sitting there. They said, we're gonna need a card. So this the first barrier, the first hurdle just before the what? Before credit score and stuff, the card. Before you book a vehicle, you need to come with a card that has your name on it, right? What's that? No. So the card must have your name on it. Credit card, I think they used my debit or Palace's debit as well. But the card has to have your name on it. Otherwise, you have to have 40,000 Rand in your account. So that's a surety. The deposit for this quantum was 8,000 Rand, 8,700 Rand, right? And I had that amount. Had like 16 that we apportioned for this because the car itself was going to cost us 5 and then plus 8.7. That's the deposit. But now if I didn't have a card with my name on, it was going to be 40,000 that I need in my account as surety, right? See, I mentioned a huge number and then she left. Yeah, well, I'm joking. So I called my girlfriend, guys. You know, she's got a stable income and has a card and a good credit score. This is at like 5 a.m., guys. We're trying to leave at like 7 latest. Uber her, she comes through. They have to start the whole application again, right? Now, when you apply, one of the key things you want to look at, this is what really screwed us. They give you 800 kilometers free. Going to Durban and coming back is 1.3 kilometers. Now, per kilometer, you're paying 15 Rand. Now, minus 1.3 from 800 Rand from 1.3, it's around 500 something. Now, times that by 15 Rand. Our deposit, we were supposed to get 8.7 back. With those additional kilometers, it took up 7.5. Because from the deposit, this deposit isn't just there for this vehicle. That's deposit that I'm using for my band fees, to pay for the sound, to pay. So I'm expecting it to come back because it's just a deposit. Now it doesn't come back because now we've gone to Durban, you know. But guys, I will say, when I first tried to apply, there was an option on this car hire app that said unlimited kilometers. You're going to pay a little bit more, but it says unlimited. The second time I applied, they removed it. I don't know. You know, so you know when you refresh things and then suddenly things have changed? And maybe there's a reality where the closer you get to the date, they start to, so if you book earlier, you have all the features. Then as the days go and get closer to your day, they start removing it, hoping that maybe the app will freeze, then your application disappears, you know? So that's where we kind of got screwed the most with the vehicle. But we got the vehicle. I picked up each of my bandmates. We went straight to Durban. And then we got there, did the show, got to the Airbnb, slept, next morning, went to the beach. There's this arm-long roti I want you guys to check out in Durban. It's this place called Sunrise Chip and Ranch. It's called a Johnny's Roti. When they give it to you, they've cut it in half already. You know, and even that first half, you will struggle unless you're someone like me, right? But yeah, we got that the next day, got back, returned the car when you say you will return it. We were supposed to return it at 9. We were in Joburg by 8:15, right? Now, you also need to budget for petrol on your way. Ideally, you want to return the car with a full tank. Otherwise, they go fill it up for you and they charge you for that. They standard rates, you know, so when they fill it up, they say, oh, it costs us this. You know, and you can't even say, empty it now, let me go fill it up and we'll see you can't. You just, and they also charge you for that admin, you know. So we didn't return it as a full tank. We were at a huge deficit, right? So we just like, you know what, it's fine. That 8.7 from deposit, you'll take it from there. Not knowing that we're not getting it back. Cool. Back in the city, the next show is a week from now, right? We're now thinking about what are the upfront costs. I've already paid the deposit for the venue for artistry. Great. We booked another artist from out of town. She played Touch Up last week, Betty Brown. Because we were booking her, she had a fee. I couldn't negotiate the way I was negotiating with my bandmates. My bandmates, I didn't give them the fee that we often agree on, but obviously we're building together. I was like, guys, this is, even Durban, we'll see what I can give you guys based on tickets, you know? And they were like, cool, let's do it. But there was a budget for them for artistry. And then the budget for the venue, budget for the artist booking. Those were more upfront fees, those two. The venue needs to secure it. People are always trying to book the artistry. So we secured it for that day, and then artists needed to be secured and whatnot. Shep, game day. Now, I don't know how much we have left. Not a lot, though, right? We don't have a lot. We're able to give the lady who was working our door her money so she can get here. We need to transport everyone. A lot of these figures you can't really incorporate in your budget. Like, you need to Uber certain people from your band. You need to transport people, you know, and it's on you, right? Because this is your production. This is your show. So now we are heading into the gig at the artistry. We get there, we start setting up, everything's happening, things are coming together, we're sound checking. The show goes well, but also we forgot about, oh snap, hospitality. Artists, crew, and everything. We got some pizzas, you know, we got some beverages. All these things are stuff that you might not consider in your initial FP. I'm gonna consider them going forward, obviously now, but you have to do this. You know, and I'm not here to say, hey guys, learn from my mistakes, because you have to make your own mistakes, you know, and make them yourself, and then you come back and we have you here, right? So this is actually an episode of I Blew It, essentially. So cool, the show is done. I get a recon from Durban of how many tickets we sold. I guess we're being vulnerable, I'll be honest. I think we sold like 30, you know. It was cool, nice. My lecturers, I studied in Durban, my lecturers came, bought tickets, it was wholesome. So that was around, we sold 30 tickets for 200 Rand, right? And the venue takes 20%, we take 80. But they don't charge us for anything else. They also feed you. Chairman, great, love them. They send me that amount, right? And remember, I said, hey band, I'll let you know from the ticket sales how much I can give you guys. If I can. I make sure to say that if I can, because it was tricky, because now we've got 5,000 Rand and we've lost 8.7 of deposit. This money needs to go back into funding the next stuff or whatever, like paying once we, you know, whatever we're in debt for. So, and then artistry, we hosted the tickets ourselves. Why we let the chairman host is because they have their community. If you've ever hosted tickets on Quicket, you can email the people who have bought tickets before. So the chairman's been around for a while. They've got probably like a huge database, you know, and only 30 people came. But it's cool, right? So we said, you guys set it up, that's fine. Because artistry was our own production, we hosted the tickets, we were fine with that. We saw it happen. We gave away a couple comps as well, you know. I shouldn't have said that part, because I guess you guys should have gotten comps too then. But it's cool. We're very strategic. One must be strategic with the comps you give away. Anita was saying, dog, when you give comps, tell people to post, you know, and yeah, I didn't do that. I didn't. It was just, I don't know. But anyway, we'll discuss. So we gave away some comps. I think at artistry, we might have also sold 30, which is interesting because being a ticket selling artist is its own thing. That's like where you'd like to be. I played this particular gig when we started in January 2023, every single Wednesday for 75, 80 weeks, right? And there was a conversation amongst our community. Guys, ByLwansta is performing every single Wednesday for free. Doesn't that make him less bookable then? If a promoter wants to book him up the road, they say, oh, people are going to want to come see him on a Wednesday anyway for free, so I'm not going to book him, right? That's a possible reality. There's a lot of truth to it. But do you know who's not going to care that I'm performing every Wednesday for free? Coachella. Because all they want to know is that, oh, you're a performer, you're a refined performer. You know, it doesn't make the other sentiment less true though. But, you know, when we played Untitled Basement last year, I had already done this show a couple of times, But, we still did it. They still gave us the venue. It's a risk, but we also put on a different show at Artistry. We said, we're going to do this and this. You want to catch it. So it was a challenge we were trying to solve for. But in the bigger picture, every festival that I'm going to play outside of this country will want to see how many festivals specifically I've played on my EPK. And a lot of the time, for you to be booked for these festivals, they have to find you performing. Earlier this year, my band and I went and played Bushfire, like MTN Bushfire in Swatini. So when we moved into this venue in September last year, one of our contacts who works with the Bushfire texted us one Monday, "Hey guys, the Bushfire guys are in town. Who's on the lineup this week?" They're like, "Oh shit, we already have people, but we want to showcase bands." So we quickly texted those people, "Hey guys, can we do next week? We just want to put on bands." I was one of the bands, and then we had Crunchy Sweater as well, and LOC. So what got us booked? So we were booked with Crunchy Sweater, and this is another hack for musicians who want to play with bands. Everyone in my band is a solo musician. You book ByLwansta with his 6 band members, you could potentially get 6 shows, but you're transporting 6 people as opposed to 6 people and there's 6 people. So that's what made the booking between Crunchy Sweater and myself easier, because Crunchy Sweater was also playing with my band, and I was playing with his band. So it was a group thing, and it makes touring so much easier. Like, each member of your band can open for you at these different stops that you make, right? It's a nice hack that you want, but everybody, there's also the tricky part about having everyone a solo musician in your band is that their thing is their number one as well. So at some point, their number one becomes a priority, and then, you have to really figure it out. Before I continue, do we have any more questions? Okay, cool. So now, post both these events, this is where it gets hard for a lot of us artists. Reporting, right? Reporting requires you to have collected all your receipts. So now, before they give you the balance of 15%, it's 11,000 something. You need to provide them with proof that this gigs happened, proof of ticket sales, proof of everything that you've paid for, proof of payments for the people you've paid already, their invoices, every invoice you've been giving, you have to put it in there. And there's another, I might actually have it, sorry. Guys, it's a crazy process, but it's an important one. I just want to find it. Keeping receipts, taxes, we've done it. Cool. Reporting, before you get this money, you have to have submitted everything that proves that you've done this. So take your time. If you were organized and you allocated all these PDFs, these receipts into the right folders, it's an easy process. It might have taken me like 4 days, One of my business partners who's not here today, that whole process gave him anxiety. It maybe took him like 3-4 months, because the strain of, trying to tour off of just that 45K, the assumption that I have is that 45K is supposed to be adding it onto some existing money, and you're in a luxurious place if you can do that. Right now, of that 45K, this tour cost us 74,000 Rand. We were over by 30-something K, right? So no one's at fault. I mean, you can't say, "Hey, guys, give us more," I mean, you can. And I did say in my report, like, just, hey, maybe less people, give it to less people, and just make the money more. What do you think? Because if we halved it, right, I think it's like 90K. If we say 45K, what do we say? If we say 2 million, 45,000 times 50, and then divided by 25, that's 90K per person. I'm in debt. But that 11K that's going to come in, I'm going to take the 5K from the chairman, add it, make it 15K, like 16K, take the 6K we made from Artistry, put it in there. That puts me at 21,000. So that 45 plus 21,000, let's see. 45,000. 66. So the tour cost me 74K. I'm still not there. So now I've got to find money to try patch these things up, right? So I was hoping to kind of, not that, I guess it will be over soon, but I was hoping to end on like a slightly positive. I can. Let me save it. We filmed the artistry performance. We recorded the audio. So we brought in a different mixer. Al found a Connect. We bought a mixer that allows us to record each separate channel, instrument, vocal, everything, right? We produced a live album, right? There's an album that comes out of this, that isn't necessarily we're going to go on tour and then we're done. We're going to go on tour and we're going to leave with something, right? If it's not money, it's going to be this asset. So we recorded a live album of like 10 songs. I think I performed for like 58 minutes. I'm thinking about potentially making it like a film of sorts where in between each song, I'm having like almost like a podcast conversation that almost like will segue into the song just to kind of really stretch, what we gained from this. Because now if it's a film, there's an opportunity to send it to film festivals. It's something else completely. It's not just going to live on YouTube, and if I only have like 5,000 subscribers, it's not just going to be for them. Film festivals, people see it, it allows you to pivot. Now you're technically a filmmaker, but it was a whole production, so it's about trying to see how can we make sense of this thing? Because even if you did make money for yourself from this gig, from this tour, it's money that's going to be spent. There's a question.
Hey everyone, my name is Tsapang Dean. I'm an artist in Joburg. Just a quick one, bro. With your recording, the live recording that you did, was that part of the plan before you left? And then second question, is the post-production of that finished? And how did you manage to pull off a live recording? I'm asking you because we've just done one now and it costs about 40,000 Rand plus, excluding, so I'm in debt. So I'm speaking because I can understand how hard that is, especially with the noise from a crowd and all of that stuff. Like, how did you manage the post-production of that? Because he was your engineer. He might have gotten the plug, is what you said, right? Can you take us through that for people who want to record lives?
Absolutely. So it was always the plan. So, thanks, Anita. So it was always the plan. I had an opportunity sometime last year to record my live album at a studio, right? My band at a studio. Now here's the tricky part. Sounded great. I was in a booth with a mic stand. My backing vocalist was in a booth with a mic stand. My drummer had to be in a separate room. In that room, it was my bassist and my keys because they don't have mics to feed in. Do you want to say something about the recording on Saturday? Do you? Okay, cool. I'll let him because he was the engineer recording. They put drummer, bassist, and keyboardist in another room. Me and my vocalist are in another room, but we're separated. My trumpeter is in a separate room, right? It's so disconnected. And you can hear the album and not really hear what I'm talking about if you haven't seen the show, but I could feel that I was performing to a wall. I could feel the energy. I get my energy from the audience personally, like the segues, the storytelling, the fact that you're wearing a sparkly dress is going to be something that we talk about during the show. I won't put you on the spot though, but it will give me something when you're in studio. So it came out beautifully mixed, wonderful. It just didn't feel like my show. And the point of recording the live project is to be able to share this with festival promoters, with events granted you're just hearing it because we didn't film it. Again, that's another limitation. And I needed to get my lick back, man. I needed to record the show, right? And the show needs people. So we made an intentional effort to record the room as well. Because we want, when I say something and people say it back, it's captured. Grab a mic. So he's going to talk you through briefly the recording process, how you set that up. Come closer, it's okay. Is this for me? Is this for me? When did this get here? Oh, hectic. Thanks. Yes. Do you wanna?
Hi,
Yeah. This is yeah.
my name is Kigetso, go by Kiki the engineer, and I'm ByLwansta's personal engineer. So when he told me he wanted to record the show, I was like, okay, no problem. We can just do how we normally do it. Then he's like, no, I want you to mix it afterwards. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of strange. So it was that back and forth of trying to figure out how we're going to do that. And then I texted him, I think it was like randomly. I know it was in the AMs because I'm always up in the AMs. So I texted him randomly and I was like, yo, I figured it out. We can use, the problem we're having was L's mixer. I wasn't sure if we could record properly. So I finally figured it out and I just texted him and like, it's fine. We can use it. And then I literally had to bring my entire PC, not a laptop, a PC. It's like big, just to record the entire show and make sure everything is perfect. And right now I'm still mixing it so that hopefully within the next month or so it can come out. But yeah, it was. Oh, you have a question? Yeah. Yeah, live drums. Acoustic live drums. A pain in the ass to mix. But yeah, so I guess you can look forward to that. And he was pestering me like a lot to make sure this thing was recording. Like every 5 minutes, is it good? Is it good? Is it good? But came out beautifully, and I guess it's something to look forward to. And the biggest takeaway from the show, I guess.
So this is my third attempt actually at trying to record the live show, right? The first time we didn't record, the guitar wasn't recorded, and it was such an important in a lot of songs. So the second was that studio one. This one had to work. Our show is festival ready, but people just need to know about it, right? So every time I was pestering him to make sure is it happening, because we were sound checking. And while we're sound checking and making sure everybody's happy, we need to make sure it's recording. So we intentionally recorded the room. We on my phone as well. So he's gonna try to fit that in his atmosphere. We'll figure out how we pan it, where it sounds like it's behind. I mean, that's Dolby Atmos, where it'll sound like it's behind your head. We'll figure it out. But the point is, our success metric was not monetary. I mean, money would have been great. We put our, ass in this whole thing, trying to market it. We also boosted on TikTok. We boosted on Instagram, Facebook as well. There was a budget specifically for that. I still owe them now, right? Hey guys, I owe a lot. But the reward, we recorded this thing. I haven't gotten the footage yet. I'll probably edit it, right? And then we sync it with the audio. Then when we add that other layer of adding the conversations between and make it a film, then we see what we can do. But it's about really trying to expand, this thing bigger than just, we recorded it, here it is. I was in Durban last week for the Music in Bizo conference. I was in a shuttle back to the hotel with the gentleman who founded Joy of Jazz, right? And then there was another gentleman who's really excited about me. We're sitting next to him and he's in the middle. Then he's like, yo, Ochi, I need you to listen to ByLwansta stuff. And I was like, hey, yeah. And I played him some stuff, right? And I played him the live album, the one we recorded in studio. And because he books for Joy of Jazz, I played the song that starts off with trumpet. Just because it's like kind of the most, not obvious, but, so that's another opportunity to kind of showcase this is what we do live, but this one we just recorded is the one we're trying to use. So I guess in conclusion, we had to forego money. I mean, default, had we made more, different story, right? But the goal, we had to make sure the production that we're doing at Artistry is recorded. That way it can open other doors by being part of our portfolio. When people Google who's ByLwansta and then they find being Googleable is so powerful, guys. You have to allow it. Colors, the platform with the colorful background and the guys performing. When I submitted, they said no attachments, no links. So you wonder, how are you gonna know what I do? Anyway, hey guys, I'm in Berlin. I'd love to come by. When they replied, they Googled ByLwansta and found stuff that, oh, he's a real person. So being Googleable is just a last note I want to add. And then just the last two notes before I close off, over communication. You know, when you're the artist, you kind of double up as the project manager as well. Not everybody's going to know everything that you know or know what you need to be done, especially if everybody has a department. So you've got to over communicate. You've got to over communicate. The people pleaser in you is going to hate it. But you've got to wake people up at 5 a.m. I don't know what time we called y'all. Called him in the morning. L, we didn't call him. We're scared of L. He's like, oh, geez. But yeah, guys, that's really it, man. I just wanted to share the how we did it. We can have another conversation on this particular platform about the application process as well. What made our application in particular possibly stand out? You know, what we offered them. When I said there's an obligation that I have to the funders, it's this conversation. To say that, hey, in addition to your reporting, here's what we also did. This is added value. So it's always about added value. You know, we all want to perform, but they're going to give the people who, one, employ a lot more people, people who have a strategy, a marketing strategy as well, a rollout strategy, because that means that their efforts are constantly being seen online. I'm a LinkedIn baddie. I'm cooking them on LinkedIn, guys. I'm cooking. Like when you post your case studies, like in this particular, but on social media, I'm like, hey guys, get tickets. You know, so yeah, it's about that. Any more questions? Cool, that's two.
Bro, just one more from me.
Yeah.
How do you sustain yourself day by day financially? What are you doing to keep yourself going? Yeah.
It's a great question. Sorry, it just hurts. But yes, I'll get to it. Okay, let me answer. How do I sustain myself, right? Right now, it's a tricky time because I'm still bleeding out from a year ago. That was a lot of money, like on tour. We went to Cape Town, drove 2 vehicles, 8 full tanks. So yeah, it's difficult to sustain myself because I'm in the red a lot. But prior to that, right, I consider myself, and I guess the modern day musician, to be called an artist entrepreneur. An artist entrepreneur understands their value chain, understands the business of their artistry, and understands the multiple streams of income. The game right now is in branding. Like being a brand. Because sell me a song right now. If it's about the music, sell me a song right now. How much are you making? 0.005 from Spotify or Apple Music, right? Even when they compete, oh no, they pay more. What, 10 cents more? You know, so now you've got to diversify your income. You know, every time Beyonce has released a project, she's introducing a new era. Some people might not like country, but you'll always like Beyonce. You know, so that's where her money comes from. Right, and another place is live. So when I talk about brand, I talk about product as well. I talk about, you know, being active on social media because that's my advertising platform. Product, merchandise, live. Live is also where it's at, bro. Like live is where it's at because there's the bar. Never sleep on the bar. If you're using a venue, always try your best to negotiate some kind of split. You know, because you could sell 10 tickets at 100 Rand. That's how much? 1,000, right? But that one person who bought a ticket might spend 350 at just the bar. And if you're not getting any of that, then you've lost out on money. Jazz is a great case study for branding. Jazz has always been branded where you dress up for jazz. If you've ever attended jazz, you've never paid less than 100 Rand. In fact, you've never possibly paid less than 200 Rand because their branding was always affluence. You bring someone out. You don't bring your girl to a cypher, unfortunately. I'd love to bring my girl to a cypher, right? But then I need to find her a place to sit, you know? So jazz is a case study where branding your live experience, where when you become a ticket-selling artist, you're able to curate, for the kind of audience you're trying to sell to. So yeah, that's just exploring the various streams of income, bro. I don't have a lot of music playing on radio, but because I perform a lot, I also register my performances. Samuel will give me a check every 6 months, I think. But that's how I try to sustain myself. It's difficult. It's a long game because you deciding to put out your first EP or your first album doesn't mean you've been in the game for 10 years. And unfortunately, unlike all the other careers like law and medicine, you study medicine for 7 years. You get a starting salary when you graduate. You have a placement. As an artist, you don't have that. So the moment you start doing music, you're an entrepreneur, and you just need to do your time. I wrote a book as well of my first 10 years. It's somewhere in one of these bags. I'll show it to you later. But that's another potential stream of revenue. Yes, sir.
So my question is, do you regret anything?
Zero. Nothing. I regret nothing. Because to be in this position that I'm in, I had to be not risk averse. If you're risk averse, if you're saying, I can't tour, it's going to cost me all the money I have in my account, you'll never tour. If you're not releasing your music on a CD because it's going to cost you this, you'll never release. If you're not, if the price tag that says, this is what it's going to cost to put off your own event is too much, then you'll never do your own event. So the hack is to just program your mind, zero regrets. It's a risky business, not everybody makes it. Eventually, you're like, I'm 30, I'm 30 now. And I did like maybe my second tour, and you gotta, because, you don't if you don't. Sounds but you don't get to where you need to go if you don't go because of money, So, zero regrets, zero, not one. I'm broke, but my heart, I cried on Saturday during the set. If you were there, you were there. But I was doing a particular song that just speaks about being grateful. My girlfriend was in the front row, and she really helped me out with just transporting people, maybe fronting a lot of monies that, I will pay back. Obviously, I have to. But I was so grateful. I felt like a bum, guys. When you're the artist. If you guys watch Insecure, Lawrence on the couch every day, I felt like Lawrence. And it sucked. But unlike Lawrence, I had that thing. My relationship is still exciting. It's hard to show up sometimes, so I cried while introducing that song because I was like, shit, dog, you really, but that's where you get to when you have zero regrets, bro. You can't regret anything. Any money you spent on this music thing, you can't regret it, because the moment you regret it, you probably won't get it back because you've stopped now. That is all. Okay. One more question, yes.
Yeah, this one is a bit personal, so you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. But by the sound of things, Big Dog, you've done a lot, and that 45,000 sounds really small. You know what I'm saying? So how much extra did you have to put on top of that just to make it happen?
So 30-something thousand rand?
Extra?
Yeah.
You're lying.
Like the whole thing in total, 74K.
Jesus.
Is how much it cost us. So I'm in the red right now. I'm finishing the reports. They emailed me back. I submitted my report. They said, hey, there's a list of people who've sent you invoices. Their names and their address and banking details aren't on it. So small details like those. There's another question. Sorry.
Doesn't that give you negotiating power the second time you my bad? Doesn't it give you you get a checklist, right? You tick all the boxes, etc.
Yeah.
Now you apply again. Skip another 45,000, but it costs you 74. Doesn't that give you like negotiating power next time you go? Or they like, 45 is 45.
So that's a great question. There's no negotiation in this particular one because when they put out the call out for funding, they say, this is how much we're giving everyone. Just apply. But it does give me a different kind of leverage. We've documented this journey. We've given them a proof of concept to the people who they're getting money from to say, guys, this thing works. This is what they do, you know? And now they're going to say, hey, ByLwansta, can you come and do what you're doing? What I'm doing right now, they're going to ask me to come and do it. And hopefully they pay me to do that, you know? Yeah, you know, but so they won't be negotiating for that amount, but it will unlock other doors, especially with this proof of concept, because it shows that we were able to see through a brief from A to B to C to D and E and produce a documentary, produce a live album, produce 2 shows, employ this many people and stuff like that. You know, this is something we can take to even the government, to the NAC, to DCS, whatever. But we take it somewhere to say we've done this, you know, and they probably can also give me a letter if need be, just as a reference that verifies what we've done. So not to negotiate with them, but to be able to use that as leverage for other conversations. Yeah. And yeah, that is my time, guys. I love South African alternative music, especially when. So this is week 113. We have our Let's Touch Base conversations every single week from 7 till 8. And then we get into the music. Some of you might have met us at Baba Black Sheep. We didn't do this, but then this space is so beautiful. It asks of you to be wholesome. And there's nothing more wholesome than us touching base. And that is the purpose of this. We're going to move in the next 5-10 minutes to outside to the live performances, what you guys essentially came here for. I could see some of you are restless. I'm joking. You guys are so attentive, and I'm so grateful. Yeah, we're here every Wednesday, week 113. We've got 3 incredible acts this evening. You know, we've got a treat for y'all. It changes every single week. So you might find your new favorite artist tonight or next week or the week after. We've got an incredible playlist as well. Find us on Instagram at Your Weekly Touch Up. There's a link in our bio. We posted in the stories right now, the playlist. So go put yourself on. The artists who've been on this stage are on there. You might have missed them. You might be like, oh, can you guys bring this person back? I haven't seen them before, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, thank you for showing up. And yeah, that's my time. Thank you.